Hello, good afternoon and welcome to Joy News Today with me, Noella Karen Iyali. Coming up in our bulletin, efforts are underway to restore calm in Bingi as the IGP engages the Regional Security Council and feud and factions in Damango. We have details as the IGP is set to meet the Yagbonwura on the measures to de-escalate the tensions in Bingi. National Disaster Management Organization relocates more than 98,000 people from 8 high-risk areas in the northern region likely to be affected by the Bagre Dam Spillage.
95,823 people along those communities have packed their things and moved. Okay.
However, some farmers say they haven't been compensated for the destruction of their farms over the last 5 years. We'll hear from them. But also, Parliament Public Accounts Committee pushes for stricter measures to deal with financial infractions in the Auditor General's report as payroll fraud increased from 14 million to 58 million cedis between 2023 and 2024.
If somebody is at post and that person, that human being is validated, it's one activity and that's it. So that issue of validation needs to be tackled, handled once and for all.
Details coming up pretty shortly, but also the Aircraft Accident and Incident Investigation Bureau moves to calm fears over domestic aviation safety, assuring the public that rigorous checks are conducted before every aircraft takes off.
It's very safe, our airspace are safe, and as we speak, Ghana has an audit and we had a score of 89.89% of safety in Ghana.
Details as the AIB assures thorough investigations into the Z9 helicopter crash will be conducted.
There's a follow-up process to make sure that it is done, So be rest assured, it will follow the same process.
And for the next 60 minutes, we have these and more, including business, sports, showbiz, and world news. Remember, Joy News is independent, fearless, credible. Please stay with us. You're welcome back. Now, this afternoon, the Inspector General of Police, Christian Tesayohonu, is in the Savannah region for a high-level meeting with the Regional Security Council and feud and factions in Damango. The meeting, which ended a few minutes ago, was aimed at restoring calm following the deadly clashes at Bingi in the Saula Tuna Kalba district that has claimed 10 lives, left several others injured, and displaced families with many residents now seeking refuge at the local police station. The IGP is also expected to call on the Yagbonwura as part of broader efforts to strengthen security presence in the affected communities. Our Savannah region correspondent Isaac Nonya is with the IGP and joins us via Zoom with details. Isaac, if you can hear me, what can you report?
Yes, the IGP and his team, they basically are here to assess the security situation and by listening to RESEC and to know what they were able to do to still contribute based on the effort they already put in place to support RESEC to bring peace to Saula district. I will speak now. The IGP, based on what he discussed, the briefing he received from the RESEC, he's currently with Yagbonwura. And why he said Yagbonwura is that the conflict was unexpected, but when he started, he made all efforts to draw men from about 5 regions to add to Savannah region, and he believes that they are doing well. Notwithstanding that, he also came with 100 IFU officers and then 30 counter-terrorism officers to beef up what the officers that he has here. Also, he called on the IG, he told on the Yagbonwura to assist him talk to the chiefs and the other factions, especially the youth, to listen to reason and accept peace so that together they will rule the place in peace and in unity.
Now, you have pitched camp at the community. Are there any concerns you're raising? Have you heard from either of the factions, and what have they been saying?
Yes, what the factions are, both factions are saying that there's no fairness on the part of the police. The arrests that have been made yesterday, one faction went demanding for the release of their people and to make sure that all that is happening, they should be fair and give, how would I say, a peace to the people who are doing what they're supposed to do. They believe that not all of them are fighting. And also based on that engagement yesterday, we are told that this morning, all the 6 suspects in police custody have been released on bail.
So after this meeting, do you have any idea what they'll be doing next?
Yes, the IGP indicated to the Yagbowura that right from here, they are going to the ground to see it for themselves and also to know the other area they should touch. First, they will go to the Solar. From Solar, they will go to Bingi and that of Calabar.
Good job done, Isaac. And let's still stay in the northern region. And farmers in the area, they say that they feel abandoned as successive government have failed to compensate them for losses from previous Bagre Dam spillages. Now, some are still counting damages from as far back as 5 years ago when over 75,000 farms were wiped out and thousands displaced. We'll hear from them shortly. But first, the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, says it has relocated more than 98,000 people from 8 high-risk communities in the northern region as part of precautionary measures against the spillage of the Bagre Dam in Burkina Faso. According to officials, the relocation exercise is to safeguard lives and property in downstream communities in northern Ghana, where seasonal spillage of the dam often leads to severe flooding. Here is the Northern Regional Director of Operations for NADMO, Sakibu Buhari.
We carry out assessment on the number of people are likely to be affected. Estimated to be around 95,823 in the 8 districts that I've mentioned about. So,
Mr. Buhari, so this 98,000, over 98,000 you estimate will be affected. How will they be affected? Are they going to lose their homes, their farms, their livelihoods?
They are likely to lose their farms, their homes, and their livelihoods. So, and that is why, like I said earlier on, our men are already on the ground, give them education. So, as I speak to you now, they have all moved, and then some have started harvesting their crops. So, inshallah, with this year, education has gone down well, and I'm sure we are likely to record it to affected.
Are the people playing along? Are they the 98,000? Have they moved already, or they are now harvesting before they move?
So they have moved. They have moved already.
Okay.
They have moved already. About 95,823 people along those communities have packed their things and moved.
Okay.
So they have seen what happened to them last year. So that is what I say this year, education have gone down well.
Burkina Faso is set to spill excess water from the Bagre Dam within 24 hours. Fears are rising that history will repeat itself. Gustave Arnault, president of the Coalition of Concerned Farmers, tells us about the 5 years delayed compensation and how education and mitigation measures have been inadequate.
We are very much concerned because over the years it's been happening, and most of the times you hear on radio through the communities a whole lot about educating farmers about the dangers of it. But every time it happens, our crops get destroyed. Also, our livestock, loss of livestock, and a whole lot do affect us. Accra doesn't, get affected by this spillage. Those of us in Upper East, Northeast, and Savannah regions coming down to a true Eastern region and both parts of Oti Region to the Greater Accra. So we plead with government through NADMO to get to the communities and educate the farmers. And also, most of us, about 5 years ago, 3, 4, 5 years ago, most of our farmers who were affected were told they will be compensated a whole lot. Nothing came. No compensation came. So we plead with the government. Over the years, there is a way they can, divert it to the Polugu Dam, which will serve other purposes during the dry season. I think it's a very good idea.
Now, we are joined on Zoom by the president of the Coalition of Concerned Farmers, Gustave Arnault. Sir, thank you so much for joining us here. Now, what is your greatest concern with the way the spillage is being handled? Can you kindly unmute so I can hear you?
Yeah, thank you very much.
So I was asking, what is your greatest concern with the way the spillage is being handled?
Well, as we said earlier, every time it happens, we do talk much as a nation, but years after years, it repeats itself. So what we're saying now is there should be an end to this. There should be a point where we will say, or will not have any information that this year Bagre Dam is going to be spilled again. So farmers.
Hello, sir. All right, we'll rework our Zoom lines and get back to Gustav and get more details from him. But let's cross over to our Northern Regional correspondent, Martina Bugri, and speak to her. Martina, okay. Now, before we go to Martina, I think Gustav is back. Gustav, you were making a point.
Yes, I was saying there should be a point in our history as a nation where we will say this year the Bagre Dam will be spilled, but there will be no destruction of our crops, our livestock, and a whole lot. So as I was saying, these things, it has affected our farmers in such a way that we harvested early, prematurely. So that one affects our food security as a nation, the availability of it, access of it, utilization, and then stability of it. So we played with government that this year should be the last of all the things which happened in the past. There should be an end to it. During the dry season, we do suffer a lot as farmers. So we plead with government to divert it into the Polugu Dam so that we can use it during the dry season to fend for ourselves and also offset part of our losses.
And in the meantime, while we wait for government's intervention, is there anything you guys are doing to safeguard yourselves and your crops?
Yeah, we've done over the years. We've safeguarded it and then done a whole lot, but still it do affect us. Still, but we are in touch with NADMO, working to this out that this year it will be the losses will be minimal. That's all what we can say. Yeah.
All right, Mr. Gustav, thank you so much for speaking to us. But let's now cross over live to our Northern Regional correspondent, Martina Bugri. Martina, you have been speaking to some farmers. What have they been saying?
Meant to do for them is to create small irrigation systems for them so that they can avoid the seasonal farming, the rainy season, which comes with a lot of floods. And once the water comes and goes, they can do dry season farming. Instead of every year they farm, the rains come and sweep everything away. Or the flood waters come and sweep everything away. Most of them say that they are yet to harvest. Their crops are not matured yet. What they have now is just more corn they've been able to harvest. Their granules still there, and they don't think that they'll be able to harvest before the floods come in. And so they are appealing for help. They are asking government to step in, bring in small irrigation systems so that they can do dry season gardening instead of always doing it every rainy season. And their reason for continuously going there is they do not have land to farm off.
Thank you so much, Martina. And from Bolgatanga, Albert Sora joins us with the latest district level assessment. Albert, what can you report?
Yeah, so yesterday when we visited the Polugu enclave of the White Volta Lake, the farmers there were telling us that the level of water was rising very quickly, and it had even started getting into the nearby farms, and they were rushing to salvage what little harvest they could before the farms get completely submerged. This afternoon, we've been checking, and it looks like the water level has slowed down. Contrary to what they were thinking, was a very fast rise in the water. This morning up to now, it seems rather that the water is slowing down a little bit, and the farms are not getting flooded as they were anticipating. But it's still early days yet because there could be rains. It's possible that a lot of the water from the Bagre Dam Spillage is yet to arrive in this part of the region. So that's the latest update.
Albert, good job done. But let's now touch base with my colleague, Ilyasu Tanko, who's in the Northeast region. Ilyasu, what's the situation there like?
Well, there have been intensification of campaigns by the National Disaster Management Organization, essentially asking people on the waterways to move. Areas like West Mamprose Municipality, including communities like Passingpe, which are mostly hard hit by this particular occurrence. There is vigorous effort by the NADMO to ensure that they leave the waterway. Mostly, when it happens, they sometimes try to use canoe and to try and harvest their crop. NADMO is campaigning strongly against this act this time around, and the water levels are still low, essentially or partly because there have not been rain. Mostly there is the combination of rainfall and the stage that normally causes this particular distraction. So we're still waiting, maybe in the next 48 or 72 hours, maybe the water levels are likely to rise.
Most definitely, we'll come back to you for more details, and thank you so much for that update. Let's now head over to the Oti region, where the region has recorded 10,233 confirmed cases of typhoid fever between January and June this year, and it has sparked major public health concerns. Now, the Regional Health Directorate, which released the figures linked to the surge to poor sanitation and the consumption of contaminated food and water. Typhoid fever is caused by the bacterium Salmonella typhi and spreads easily in communities with inadequate sanitation facilities. Now, JoyNews first reported the surge in cases in Dambai in December 2024, with over 3,000 cases reported. Here's a recall.
According to some officials who interacted with JoyNews off camera, typhoid fever in the regional capital, Dambai, is a takeaway. This means you get infected once you eat any food in the capital when you visit. This prompted our curiosity to probe further. With all drains leading into the Volta Lake and alleged discharge of sewer waste into drains whenever it rains, you get typhoid when your water or food source is contaminated with fecal matter. Amin Abdul Muttalib is the Accra East Municipal Director for Health Services.
Typhoid, like we all know, is a bacterial infectious disease. It's caused by Salmonella typhi. Yeah. So usually when patients come, you see complaint of fever, headache, stomach pains, constipation, and even diarrhea.
There has been a steady increase in typhoid cases between 2021 and 2024. As of half-year 2024, over 3,000 individuals have been confirmed to have been infected.
We've been experiencing some cases of typhoid in our facilities, especially in Dambai Health Center, where the regional capital is. If you look at our OPD cases so far, from 2021, we were recording about 4,557 cases of typhoid.
Abdul Muttalib blames the high prevalence cases on the non-availability of water system for the municipality.
What we are experiencing is mainly the source of our water system that we don't have. Look at our lake here. When it's flooded, the fecal matter gets into it, though the environmental health unit is doing their best to get it controlled, but we still get some aspect of it contaminated.
In order to contain the high prevalence figures, the Health Directorate, together with the environmental units of the Accra East Municipal Assembly, have initiated some educational measures to contain the situation.
As a health system, we also do education to sensitize the community as to how to prevent these diseases through personal hygiene.
Peter Sanu for JoyNews.
Now, in response to the increase in cases, the Oti Regional Coordinating Council has inaugurated a sanitation task force in partnership with environmental health officers. The task force is expected to implement waste management interventions, improve access to clean drinking water, and strictly enforce sanitation bylaws. Regional Environmental Health Officer Cynthia Setre says the situation was worrying and called for urgent collective action. She warned that the outbreak is being driven by poor waste disposal practices and safe water sources and limited community compliance with hygiene measures.
Mortality cases, and Oti is not exceptional. We have a data from Oti Regional Health Directorate that indicated that a total number of 10,233 from first quarter to second quarter is confirmed cases of typhoid fever. And if you look at the first quarter alone, we are talking about 4,417 and 5,816 confirmed cases from the hospital. This is a public health concern. If you look at the percentage between the first and the second quarter, we were expecting that at least there should be reduction, but there was increase of 31.something% of typhoid cases at the various hospitals. It's affecting people in Oti Region. And for that matter, these data that we have, there are contributing factors to these diseases. We can look at those that even don't go to the hospitals. What happens to them? Those that do the traditional medicines, there is no data on them. And in fact, if you look at this data, there is no data also from Pantano district. We don't have any data from there. It's 0-0. So even when Pantano data on typhoid confirmed cases is being added to it, in fact, it calls for concerns.
Now, away from that, Karachi West Municipal Chief Executive Prosper Ado added that vulnerable populations, including children, are at most at risk, and he urged residents to play an active role in promoting better hygiene to help curb the spread of the disease.
Lives up to expectation as far as sanitation issues are concerned. I want to encourage them that whatever they are supposed to do, they should know that we, the MMDCs, are fully behind them. They should go all out. They should exercise their duties without fear or favor. They should make sure that whatever they are going to do, as far as sanitation issues are concerned, as far as the oath they have sworn here is concerned, should be devoid of partisan issues, should be devoid of religious biases, should be devoid of tribal biases. They should make sure that they will live up to expectation so that Oti, if for nothing at all, will become the best as far as sanitation is concerned in the whole of Ghana.
Now, the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament is pushing for stricter measures to help deal with increase in financial infractions captured in the Auditor General's report. Financial mismanagement amongst government institutions have seen a jump. Last year, especially payroll fraud, which has seen a 300% jump from 14 million cedis in 2023 to 58 million cedis in 2024. We'll look at the figures shortly, but first, here's a wrap of what transpired at the committee sitting on Monday, where the Deputy Minister for Finance, Thomas Ampeminyako, revealed that a staff at the Controller and Accountant General's office is currently under investigations for a related offence.
The matter about non-payment of some government workers, especially teachers, due to non-validation came up at the Public Accounts Committee, where Chairperson Abina Osasari raised concerns about how the phenomenon has become a bargaining or punishing tool for some superiors in the educational sector.
Sometimes it's a genuine mistake from the validators, and sometimes too, it is a way of some of the heads showing teachers where the power lies. And it's very, very painful. Since Friday, we've had a lot of these reports. It's very painful.
This is the Controller and Accountant General, Kwesi Eje's initial response.
Because they validate. They are in the district, they are in their offices, and they will determine that this number of people deserve to be paid. So if for one reason or the other, they don't validate you, then it's the same process. It's the same validators and institutions that have to go through the process to validate you for us to pay you. We cannot, as controller, pay you if the validators haven't validated you. So these are some of the challenges that
when they bring.
It was on the back of this that the Deputy Finance Minister, Thomas Ampenyako, made a revelation that the staff at the Controller's office is currently under investigation over a similar incident.
There was one that went viral recently about someone who complained that I think a teacher also name was taken off the payroll. Somebody assisted him to get it on, and the person was demanding a lot of money from him. Because he did not pay, they went ahead and removed his name from the payroll. We have taken serious view of this, and it is being investigated. Fortunately, Controller knows the person in the Controller office who activated, who deactivated, but a lot more information need to come out for us to know what really went on and for the appropriate punishment to be meted out. And so the Finance Minister takes serious views to some of these things, and he's asked that we have an in-depth investigation into it. We will apprise the general public of whatever the outcome is.
On the part of the Finance Ministry, they have been referred to the Attorney General for prosecution over procurement breaches. According to the Auditor General's report, the ministry awarded 3 separate contracts worth 1.3 million Ghana cedis to 2 hotels to provide services during the drawing of the 2024 budget without approval from the Public Procurement Authority. When Ghana Revenue Authority appeared before the committee, the ranking member, Samuel Atamels, asked that the authority furnish the committee with a full list of all debtors who owe millions of cedis in tax and how much has been collected so far. The GRA boss, Anthony Kwesi Sapon, says they have collected a chunk of the debt and will explore every avenue to collect the rest.
On the whole, we assure the committee that we are taking strides and taking all the actions to recover all the amounts that taxpayers owe. And as you may witness from our engagement with the committee, we have done tremendous effort in terms of the report that we presented to them, achieving greater strides in recovering the taxes, and we also assure that the remaining amounts will continue to work with taxpayers and collect it, ultimately to collect the revenue for national development and in support of the President's vision of resetting and building this nation.
Although the committee was originally scheduled to end this session on Wednesday, August 27, it has ended this Monday. Adjourning to September 29, it is unclear what the reason is. James Savaji, Parliament House, Accra.
And James Savaji joins me via Zoom with details of the infractions captured in the 2024 report. Thank you so much for joining us, James. How grave are these infractions?
Well, Noella, quite serious if you look at the Auditor General's report summary of all of the irregularities captured in there. Although generally between 2023 and 2024, the total irregularities decreased by some 14.6%. Others increased for up to 2,445%. For instance, if you take taxi regularities, it's decreased by 26.7%. Cash irregularities increased by 101. Debt and loans by some 739. Then the payroll in question increased from 14.5 million cedis to 57.8 million cedis, representing some over 300% increment. And so for procurement, for instance, it has increased by some 2,445%. And so if you look at it, it looks like if you monitor the trend, the irregularities keep increasing year after year, despite the efforts put in by the Public Accounts Committee to deal with some of these issues, Noella.
Now, James, in the past, the committee took some steps by referring cases to the AG's department for prosecution. Do we know the latest on that?
Well, as at the last sitting before this year, in the last parliament, it came to bear that for all the cases that, especially procurement cases that the Public Accounts Committee forwarded to the auditor, to the Attorney General's office, none has been forwarded to the office. And so that was the latest as at last year. This year, I did some checks this morning, and it is unclear whether this government or this new Attorney General, Dominic Ayine, had come to meet some of those issues that have been forwarded. But the AG was scheduled to meet the Public Accounts Committee at this session before the sitting was adjourned with no reasons given yet. But we expect that the Attorney General will appear before the committee somewhere in September ending in order to give us an update as to whether or not those issues have been forwarded and what actions have been taken on them so far.
Good job, James, and thank you so much for speaking to us. Now, we can now hear from MP for Pando and a member of the Public Accounts Committee, Sebastian Fred Dare, who says improving the validation process is essential to deal with the menace.
At the core of it is dishonesty on the part of staff and duty bearers that were assigned responsibilities to be in charge of this activity. Like a case was cited where somebody, an able-bodied person, for 36 months, this person was receiving allowances pertaining to disability. And definitely, it would have been stated on the payroll the kind of allowances that he was being paid, including the one that relates to disability. But that person for 36 months took it.
How do we resolve this?
I think that stringent measures, procedures, controls need to be put in place to prevent such things from occurring. This whole issue of this animal called validation, how on earth can it be that we, in the age of computers, in the age of technology, we are unable to put in correct measures, correct procedure, correct, adequate measures, backed by technology that will ensure that if somebody is at post and that person, that human being is validated, it's one activity and that's it. So that issue of validation needs to be tackled, or it needs to be, handled once and for all, such that once we say we are validating somebody, the biometrics and everything that is required for we to know that Mr. A or Madam B is the person at post and therefore being paid from the state purse, that needs to be done and backed by technology.
Now, road accidents in Ghana are often associated with heavy-duty trucks, long-distance buses, or commercial minibuses, but a new report is challenging that perception. According to the 2024 Road Safety Report, lighter vehicles, including saloon cars, SUVs, and motorcycles, are now amongst the leading contributors to a sharp rise in fatalities, especially here in Accra. At the Bloomberg Philanthropies Initiative for Global Road Safety Partners meeting, key stakeholders, including the AMA, DVLA, and the National Road Safety Authority, reacted to the findings and outlined measures to curb the trend. Here's a Newsdesk report.
Oftentimes when we hear of road accidents here in Ghana, we're quick to assume that they involve heavy-duty trucks, minibuses, long-distance buses, and rightly so, because that is what past incidences and research have shown. But it might interest you to know that according to the 2024 official road safety report, light vehicles such as sedans, SUVs, and motorcycles contributed significantly to the 34% surge in road fatalities recorded in Accra alone. Now, that report was released at this year's Bloomberg Philanthropies Initiative for Global Road Safety Partners Meeting 2025. And among the partners present were representatives from the MTTD, DVLA, the Ghana Standards Authority, and the AMA as well. The Regional Technical Advisor for Vital Strategies, a partner organization, Dr. Raphael Ewa, shared key findings of the report.
Among the key findings was the fact that after 2 years of decline in road traffic fatalities in both cities, there was an increase in 2024. So the increase in fatalities in Accra was 34%, which is quite significant, and the increase in the number of reported fatalities in Kumasi was 13%. Another key finding in the report was the fact that pedestrians and motorcyclists account for the highest proportion of these fatalities in both cities. Now, this is very worrying because we are all pedestrians at some point in time, and you know the motorcycle fleet or people using motorcycles is growing by the day. So this is really, you know, a very dire situation that both cities find themselves in. Another major finding from the report was the fact that in Accra the highest risk periods were from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Fridays, and in Kumasi it was between 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. on both Saturdays and Sundays.
The coordinating director of the AMA, Mr. Douglas Amafo, who represented the mayor of Accra, touched on the alarming figures stipulated in the report and also shared details and insights about the Assembly's Red Light Initiative.
As mayor of this city, it is my solemn commitment to transform Accra into a city that anticipates, mitigates, and responds to challenges with resilience. A city that embraces data-driven policy and decision-making to protect the lives of all who live in and move through it. The alarming figures which we have just been told must compel us to double our efforts in our various interventions, leaning against the confidence that we can achieve so much more by putting in a little more effort. The Accra Metropolitan Assembly prioritizes pedestrian safety. This is why I am leading the campaign to clear our pavements of hawkers to safeguard the pedestrians. As part of efforts to restore order and enhance pedestrian safety, the AMA has reintroduced the red line policy to regulate trading on designated pavements across the metropolis.
In Kumasi, the mayor, Honorable Richard Ofori-Buedi, spoke about interventions his office has rolled out to reduce crashes in the Ashanti regional capital.
We take a break here, but still to come, the Aircraft Accident and Incident Investigations Bureau moves to calm fears over domestic aviation safety, assuring the public that rigorous checks are conducted before every aircraft takes off.
Very safe, our airspace are safe, and as we speak, Ghana has an audit, and we had a score of 89.89% of safety in Ghana.
Welcome back to Business here on JoyNews Today. My name is Winston Taki, and our first business story. Telecommunications giant MTN Ghana has presented money, airtime packages and drinks to the La Traditional Council in support of this year's Homowo Festival, with a renewed call on the public to stay alert against fraud and cybercrime. There is more in this report.
MTN Ghana has donated 20,000 Ghana cedis, airtime worth 1,000 cedis, and assorted drinks to the large traditional council as part of activities to mark this year's Homowo Festival. Speaking to the media, Chief Customer Relations Officer at MTN Ghana, Jemima Kute-Walsh, reaffirmed the company's commitment to combating fraud and addressing cybersecurity threat. She assured the community of MTN's continuous presence in offering sensitization and support against fraudulent activities.
It is Homowo, and we're celebrating with them and supporting their activities. And some of the ways in which we're supporting is through donating 20,000 Ghana cedis, 1,000 Ghana cedis airtime, as well as assorted drinks to help with the celebrations. We're also in the community, engaging with the members of the community and educating them on our products and services, particularly in the area of fraud, Momo fraud to be specific, to ensure that people are aware and able to protect themselves against the fraudsters. So we started this journey a while ago, and we're still on it, and we'll continue to do the education to ensure that people are able to understand and become aware and safeguard their phones and their wallets against fraud.
Receiving the items, Ni Ajay Kofe IV expressed appreciation to MTN Ghana for their consistent support to the large traditional council. He further encouraged the public to take advantage of the sensitization effort to better protect themselves from falling victim to fraudulent activities.
We've always told them to avail themselves, to allow for you to educate them about your services, and then issues that they might have, challenges that they might have. They should be open, and then they should tell you what their issues are. The La Traditional Council and the chiefs and the people of La are very grateful to MTN for their support. We have a very good relationship with MTN, so every year they've been coming to support the Homo. Whatever they've given us, we pray that it will be multiplied in folds for them.
The donation forms part of MTN's broader commitment to building strong community relations and supporting cultural heritage across Ghana.
Now, away from that, Ghana's tech ecosystem raked in over $36 million in venture capital funding in the first half of 2025. According to the Africa The Big Deal report, this represents about 3% of the total $1.35 billion African sectors collectively secured in the same period. Ghana's 2025 figure of $36 million represents a huge drop compared to the first half of 2024. There is more in this report.
Ghanaian startups pulled in notable deals in the first half of 2025. ZPay led with $18 million, followed by Kofa, a sustainable mobility firm, with $8.1 million. Affinity Africa, a digital banking app, raised $8 million, while Complete Pharma secured $2.5 million. Across the continent, startups raised $1.3 billion, representing a 78% jump from the $800 million recorded in the same period last year. In terms of funding attracted by country, Egypt topped the charts with $330 million, followed by South Africa with $274 million and Nigeria with $158 million. The financial sector dominated, attracting 40 to 46% of total funding, cementing its position as Africa's most attractive investment space.
We have more business update for you at 1 p.m. on the marketplace. Up next is sports.
Good afternoon. We bring you sports now on Joy News today with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullah. Adansi Travels, they placed second in the men's table tennis. They are representative in this year's Joy Sports Invitational Tournament. In that discipline was Joshua Okai. Despite leading, MPA, which was represented by Oscar Forsin, came from behind to win the men's table tennis. Joshua, after the event, says that he's disappointed that he did not see through to his lead and win a gold medal for Adansi Travels.
Honestly, I'm really disappointed because it is a game that I should have won 3-1. I actually led 2-0 before he came 2-2. Now, in the fifth game, even in the fourth game, I had a chance leading 10-9, 11-10, and then 12-11. But eventually, he won 14-12. And then in the fifth game, I took a lead, 5 lead, and he came back. So I must say I'm really disappointed. But nevertheless, that is a table tennis for you. You need to be more focused whether you are leading or down. The slightest mistake, that is it. So I give credit to him. He really played well. The mental toughness and his psychology was really up there. Notwithstanding, his coach and the supporters were doing a lot of distraction, but that is just the side of it. I had my chances. I was not able to utilize it.
What would you say was the main reason that made you lost? Because it looks like you had in control in the first 2 sets, then he came back. Was it because of the distraction from his fans and his coach? That was the key thing that made you lost?
The distraction was part of it, but he came with a tactics. I realized he came more relaxed. He allowed me to attack. Then he does the pushing and then the blocks. And so he was able to capture. But quickly, I retaliate. And then I came back. But along the line, it's like I lost focus a bit because when I took the lead, in my head, I thought a bit of complacency. I thought, I'm done. But when he came to 9-7, that is where I should have been more focused to play. But I thought, yes, sure, I'm going to win.
Up next is Showbiz.
Time now for Showbiz. I am Loy Shola Adeyemi. Now, Ghanaian musician Yao Beg has accused fellow music artist Mr. Drew of repeatedly failing to credit those who contribute to his music. Beg cited his own role in the hit Later, Kwame Eugene's input on Case, and Dope Nation's work on This Year, all of whom claim to have co-written or produced without recognition. Producer Willis Beats has also alleged that Mr. Drew misrepresented production credits and withheld payments for his work. Yao Beg is calling on Mr. Drew to give proper recognition to his collaborators to end the growing controversy.
No, but maybe. But so far he has not responded to the Dope Nation allegations.
Oh, he tweeted.
He has tweeted. But did he say that they are lying or?
No, he said he felt like what they were saying it was out of place.
No, but what I'm saying is he has not responded to the crux of the matter, as in no cresse.
It no go fit because
that is what I'm talking about.
The truth is the truth. Also on Pesa. Here they all can.
It's like more like what they are saying. They shouldn't be saying things like that about him.
But I think you guys are brothers, and you need to,
we are still brothers.
Solve your issues.
But he is treating the kaka because Oya Pesa, I don't know. In the industry, I feel like he's being favored on that part because we made mistakes and we left the label and. We are cool with that. We still look at you and be like, okay, I know Nipan stars, he's doing good. But man, don't do that to other people. You get it? We are all brothers, like you just said. If Dope Nation has helped you before, oh, Charlie, Dope for a throw, mami. Oh, Charlie, Kwame Eugene a throw a case, mami. Now, effect.
Moving away from that, the family of the late high life legend Charles Kojofosu, popularly known as Daddy Lumba, has formally notified government of his passing. On Monday, August 25th, they called on the Chief of Staff, Julius Deborah, at the Jubilee House to observe traditional protocols and discuss initial funeral arrangements and possible state support. Daddy Lumba died on July 26th at the Bank Hospital in Cantonment, Accra. His death has sparked out an outpouring of tributes from fellow musicians, political leaders, and fans born in 1964. He rose to fame in the 1980s and went to release more than 30 albums with timeless hits such as Abin Waha, Theresa, Yensi Obia, and Playboy. Beginning as part of the Lumba brothers with Nana Ichampong, he became one of Ghana's most celebrated and influential high life icons. Well, and that's how we wrap up Showbiz. My name is Loy Shola Ademi. For more entertainment stories, head on to myjoyonline.com. Noella, over to you.
Absolutely. And for more of our local and international stories, do log on to myjoyonline.com. I'm Noella Karen Ali. Do enjoy the rest of your day.